Good evening.
Good evening. Good
Hello.
evening.
How
How
are
are
you,
you?
Atzmon?
I'm fine. I'm fine. Well, personally, I'm fine.
Only personally.
Yes.
Here with us tonight, Floyd Van der Veen. How are you, Floyd?
I'm good.
Would you
My
like to?
personal is also fine.
Yeah?
I'm honored to be on your podcast, Omri.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. It's our pleasure.
Of course.
Would you like to introduce yourself to our listener?
Yes. So I'm Floyd. I'm from the Netherlands.
Yeah.
My last name is a very Dutch last name,
Which is?
which is Van der Veen. Van der Veen means from the peat. Peat is a type of soil that's very common in the Netherlands. Our first economy is based on digging the peat and selling the peat. So I am from the peat.
And how old are you?
I'm 22.
All right. And what are you doing in life?
At the moment, I study water management. I live close to the sea as well, so it makes sense.
And why you chose to study water management?
I did a lot of study. I tried a lot of studies,
Mm-hmm.
and I wanted to do something meaningful for the country I live in.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we are the lowest lying country in the world, of course. So I am as tall as Michael Jordan, so the water wouldn't bother me that much. But other people do. So I want to contribute in this work area.
So, what would you like to speak tonight with us
I like to talk about important things. So let's talk about, for example, faith.
about faith? What do you think about faith?
I think what's the most important to me
Mm-hmm.
is um, is faith and having your life
Mm-hmm.
has been God. He showed me a lot of things. He teach me a lot of things, um, which shaped me, and it's the biggest factor that shaped me.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be the topic for me to talk about, with what I can talk about for a very long time.
Great. Atzmon.
I'm Atzmon Yaniv. I live in Israel. I'm retired now. I was a practicing lawyer for over 40 years,
Mm-hmm.
uh, mainly in litigation. And it's interesting that for me,
Yeah.
that in the 22nd century, a younger person like Floyd, who I'm seeing and meeting for the first time,
Mm-hmm.
says that God has taught him most of the things that he knows in life and influenced his life tremendously. And this is something very outstanding. Not in this country, in Israel, when we have all these religious people who believe probably in the same God. But it's interesting for me to understand when you say God taught you most of the things that you know and influence your life up to now in a very strong way. Can you elaborate on that? In what way did God inspire you and influence you and teach you all these things? How is this connection with God working, if I may put it bluntly?
So yeah, what I said a little earlier. I've always been the thinker and trying to come at what's behind the behind. And I came very young age to the conclusion that there is God and that He apparently wants to tell us something because we're here. So that's actually, those thoughts are, I think, the first thoughts that started it. I had a little backdraw, I think, when my parents forced me to go to church. When you force me to go, in the end, I don't want to go. But still, he's there, and the conclusion that he's there has never been broken for me. So it was more like I didn't stop believing, but I didn't want to believe because I had to, but I still did.
And
So
now it's not compulsory any longer. Now it's of your free choice.
Yeah.
So tell me, how do you communicate with God? How is this connection? How does this connection work? This wireless connection.
It has many forms. I think the most apparent in my life are situations that happen to me, and then a few weeks, years later, I see, okay, so this is what you've been trying to tell me. So, for example, my study choice at the moment, I did a lot and I tried a lot all on my own thinking, like, I can do this, I'm good at this, I want to make this amount of money. They all failed. And then I started thinking about, okay, what is the situation he placed me in? Okay, I'm in the Netherlands. I'm a man. What are the problems in the Netherlands? These are the problems in the Netherlands. 1 + 1 is 1. So that I tried thinking on my own a lot, but thinking about what he got for you in that place, it's just an example. But in terms of communicating, you can pray, you can say everything you want to say to him, everything that bothers you. You might not get a reaction. I have had nights that I couldn't sleep and that I was very angry, that I haven't got a response. But yeah, sometimes no response is maybe the best response. So that's what I mean by learning from him. I first have a question for you.
Yes.
What does your name mean?
My name, Atzmon, means independent. I was born on Independence Day, on Israeli Independence Day,
Okay.
which is Yom HaAtzmaut. And from this Atzmaut, they derived the name Atzmon. And my middle name is Daniel. Each one of us children had a middle name which could be pronounced easily in English. My brother, my sister is Vardit, and her middle name is Sharon, and my brother's middle name is David. So we all have middle names that can be used when we are not in Israel, because Atzmon is a little bit hard to pronounce. And Yaniv is not the original name I was born under. My family name was a long Russian name, which is Pochachevsky. As a matter of fact, my forefathers, my great-grandmother and great-grandfather came from Russia, from what is now Belarus. And he had this long family name. And when I went into the army, and people were joking and kidding about this name, I came to my grandfather and asked his permission to change my name. And I chose this name, which is Yaniv, which means shall bear fruit.
Shall bear fruit. Okay.
Shall bear fruit. But
beautiful.
In those days, when I picked up this name, and all my cousins changed to the same name, to Yaniv,
okay.
At least all the family is united under the same new name. But it wasn't a private name. and a family name, and then it became like a first name along the years. So what happened was that people would call me by my family name, thinking it is my first name. So it was a whole muddle from this name, but nevertheless, that's what I'm responsible for this.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
and I heard that your name, Floyd, is your father's pick, as he's a great admirer of Pink Floyd. This I've already found out.
So you got my first and my last name.
Yes.
All right. Yeah, my grandfather is from the most north part of the Netherlands, from Groningen.
Groningen.
That's where my roots are, and that's the area where they used to dug out the soil type from the ground to make money.
Groningen.
That's the family name. We became wealthy by the
Van der Veen. Well, good job you're not from Buxtehude. It's another place. But when during the times of the Germans, so I have an uncle who is Dutch.
Okay.
His name is Lutstein. And he was a very small child. He's still alive, my only uncle, my only living uncle. And when he was 7, the Nazis walked in, and he was put in a convent. They called him Fritz Lutstein, in a monastery. Yes.
Okay.
In a with nuns. And and that's how he was saved. He lived all his early childhood as a Christian. Maybe it has to do a little bit with our topic of trust, because when his parents came to pick him up, they both survived somehow, his parents. And when they picked him up, when they came to the monastery to collect him after the war, the nuns were not so keen of giving him away, because he grew up as a Christian already. And there was a whole debate between them, because they said,
keep him. Yeah.
And they, of course, trusted these people to give them back their child when the war was over.
Yeah.
Quite a story.
Yeah.
Yes. So he's...
I never heard this story.
He told me that when they wanted to know whether someone was was Dutch or German, they asked him to say the name Scheveningen. It's also a little place, no? Scheveningen.
Scheveningen.
Huh?
You say it perfectly. Nice.
Scheveningen. Yeah. And I don't know why it has a sort of, you have to say it in a certain way to be considered Dutch. Anyhow, so I wanted to ask you, this is out of the line. What do you think of my friend Omri?
What do I think of Omri? He is, it's actually funny. I always felt, I always liked the Mediterranean culture, like the way they cook and the way they live with the families, and like the connect. Like you are really, also when I hear Arabic people speak together and being together, they're really cohesive, and that's what I miss in my country. So I was always thinking about this and longing in my head to certain lifestyle like this, and then
he came along,
and then Omri showed me the kibbutz and the.
Have you been to Israel?
No, I would love to.
He told you all about it and showed you pictures. I see.
Yeah, I would love to.
Well, you should come one day. It's not so far and it's not so expensive. And I'm sure that Omri will be happy when he comes again to Israel to invite you. It's
Yeah,
it's
he
a very
already did.
wonderful place.
What does it mean? What does the word faith or trust mean to you?
Well,
It's a very broad question.
yes, but trust, first of all, trust is something.
Do you have a wife?
I was married. I have 3 children. I have three grown-up boys. One is the eldest is a high-tech guy, a programmer,
The guy. Mm-hmm.
and he was in relocation in London. Now, how trust is something that is not immediate.
Mm-hmm.
It's not natural. It doesn't come on its own. Trust has to be built,
Yes.
and there are all sorts of ways to build trust. But in order that in this crazy world, for someone to trust somebody else takes work. You have to work on it. You have to build. It's not. We use the word to build trust, like building a house, building with bricks. Trust has to be developed, has to be built, and you have to put a lot of effort on both sides, or as many sides as they are, in order to gain the trust of the other party, and vice versa.
Yeah.
It is not something which is obvious.
No.
Yes, it's not taken for granted. It is something like marriage, if we're talking about marriage or relationship. In order for relationship to hold, and we need to build trust. So this is a process. Trust is a process. To achieve a high level of trust needs a lot of effort, a lot of energy to be put into it. It's not something that comes out of the blue. When trust comes in, you have to think of the other party and to take him in consideration.
Yes.
Because these are the things that can break trust. Yes.
So that's an interesting one to think about, breaking trust. What
breaks trust?
Yeah,
I would ask you, what, in your opinion, can be the reasons of trust to be broken?
Yeah, I think your trust, if you had built up already the trust, then it will take a lot to break. It can only break when you or the other party didn't work that much on it.
But sometimes when people are very trustworthy and they really trust each other, a little mistake, a little thing which might look, not so important in somebody else's eyes, can be very helpful. The more people are trustworthy to each other, the more there can be a break of trust, even in something minute, if you understand me.
Yeah, but then you still have the base of the older trust building process. So it might take a little, yes, but then more stuff is into play with personal things. I think if you build up trust for a very long time, something can happen, yes, but you still can look back at the good stuff that person did for you and vice versa.
The thing is with trust, sorry, you didn't finish your sentence. You wanted to say
No, please interrupt me.
The more there is trust between people, they have higher expectations from each other.
That's so true. Yeah.
They expect the other party more and more, and that's what, when you don't trust or you trust someone but not 100%, like 80%. So you are, or in the back of your mind, you always have you take in consideration that the trust will be broken. It's not 100% trust. But when trust is built to an extent that it is 100%
100%.
sure, 100% sure, then your expectations are very high. And the higher the expectations are, the harder it is for a person that was hurt by the other party for not being trustful. It can hurt more.
Yes. How far do you think you can go? 100% trust. I can say I don't trust one person in my life for 100%.
I agree. Well, yes, but it's very near to that. I mean, what is the margin? Why do you leave this this margin? And what do you do in order to protect yourself from a breach of trust that you are expecting in the back of your mind, even from a person that you trust in general?
Yeah. I don't think it's a matter of what you say, that I have something in the back of my mind that could disturb the trust, but I just know that I'm not 100% trustworthy, because I do things sometimes that I don't want to do. So that means I can't 100% trust myself. So I cannot even, I'm a human, everybody is human. I cannot trust, for the fact that I cannot trust myself 100%. I cannot trust other humans for 100%. I can have a good relationship with you. I can trust that you will take care of me, and I will, and we sharpen each other as men should do. But yeah, I don't think. Yeah, I think that's why I don't think it's possible. You can say it. I trust you 100%, but I don't think that's.
And what you are saying is that because you are aware of your own limitations, and you know that even you are not 100% trustworthy, then because of the fact that you know that about yourself, you cannot trust the other person 100%, because you know there are certain situations and certain happenings that can cause you to break this trust, and therefore you take it in consideration in the first place. Is that what you're saying?
I think, yes.
Now tell me, I understand you come from a family of faith.
Yes.
Yes. Now, do you think that people who grew up in a religious background, who are believers, who have faith in the Almighty and the Holy Scripts, do you think these people are less inclined to being not trustful?
I think there is not much difference between those people growing up in a faithful home or people who grew up as an atheist, for example. I think we are all human and share a brain and a heart. So there is only like nature differences. There is not, I think, but cultural differences there are.
But would you
talk about trust?
Would you say, sorry for interrupting you.
Mhm.
But would you say that there is a difference in essence between someone who grew up in a believing home, in a religious home, and somebody else who grew up totally secular?
So you mean by essence, um, the thing
Will
that moves you?
will his morals,
Mhm.
will the fact that he grew up in a believing in the Almighty, will this affect this person to be more loyal, more committed, more trustworthy? Where does religion or belief come into the equation?
It has two sides, I think. You can, if you grow up with the morals, you can say this person knows his morals, so statistically he should do more good deeds. But you can also say what you search for, you end up chasing in the end. So if I'm the whole day thinking about I have to do good, I have to do good, I like this, then doing bad is very, very close by, as I experienced. So yeah, no, I don't think you can make the distinction. I think everybody has the need, every human has the need to to put their self in the first place and not the other
But
person.
don't you think there's always this debate between heredity and environment? I remember this
Yeah.
debate, heredity and environment. I mean, your genes,
Oh,
what you have in your what you got from your forefathers, your genetic history, and environment. Like if you take someone who comes from a very noble family and you put him to grow up with the monkeys, let's say. And they had these experiences, and once it was a big topic of what shapes the person in the end.
Yeah.
The genetic background or the environment in which he grew up.
Yeah.
And this debate continues. But I would think that growing in a secular home can influence a person one way. I'm not saying a secular home can be very, very influencing in being a trustworthy person. Yes, I'm not saying, but people think or expect people who grew up in a believing environment to be more honest, more straightforward, more they can be trusted more because of the fact that they are believers. This is the general feeling. And I know here in Israel you say to somebody, but you are religious. You have a kippah on your head. You have a yarmulke on your head. How come that you do such things when you believe in God and you pray 3 times a day and you believe in the 10 Commandments, which one of them is not steal and not do all the bad things. So there is, I think, an expectation from a believer to be more trustworthy. Maybe this belief is has no leg to stand on.
Yeah, but why would you expect that? That's the thing. So you have then two parties with this story. You have the believers and you have the non-believers. Let's call it like that. The non-believers are looking at the believers. Why are you not doing this? But shouldn't you be looking at yourself in the first place before looking at those persons who, right? So it's a very hard and long debate. Yeah.
Well, I wasn't coming here to give you to give you an easy time. So it's always
Oh, please.
yes.
This
So
is good. We need to
tell me,
sharpen each other.
let's ask about you. How did the fact that you grew up in a family of believers influence your life? Would your life have had been different if you grew up in a secular family? Do you think anything would be different?
It would be.
Being who you are, and let's say we change the environment in which you grow up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Would
I
it
think
have made a change?
a lot because I was born indeed in a Christian household. I went to Christian lower school. I went to Christian middle school. I went to church. So all the people that I know and I still know from a young age, I've been with in these environments, praying together and singing together and stuff like this.
Yes.
And then I went to Rotterdam for my first study. And that's actually the first time I was tested. Like I had to explain what I believed. And if I did not be with those people from a young age, I would have maybe even thought more about it because it's not normal for you. So I would be a completely different person, yes.
And now that you realize it, or the moment you realize it, there was a point in your life when you went to Rotterdam, to Amsterdam. Where did you go? You said you went to Rotterdam.
Mm-hmm.
And you discovered the other world. That's yes, okay. I'm exaggerating, but it was quite a revolution for you, I believe, to see something completely different, or was it not?
Not as in the word revolution.
A revelation, maybe.
Yeah, no, it was not that I had a paradigm shift or something. I always knew that I was searching, that searching for God is the right thing to do. So I was not. I've never doubted my belief, but it was more like I actually don't know that much about what I believe. I just believe because my parents believe.
Mm.
That's the conclusion I got from going to the wild world.
Now, when you found out that you actually do not know why you believe, but you understand that you believe because that's the way you were brought up and your parents made you whoever you are. Wasn't it interesting for you to search and look for things that may explain to you why you should remain a believer, or you accept it and that's it? That's who I am, that's how I was brought up, and I am sticking to it, and it's okay for me, and I do not care. I do not want to dig deeper in understanding why I am a believer.
Out of respect for my parents, in the first place, I didn't shove it away.
I was not talking about shoving it away. I was talking about you mentioned that you do not know, or you did not know why you are a believer, but you knew that that's how things should be because that's what you knew. That is how you were brought up and how you were taught, and how this is how you grew up. And but then you reach an age where an age that we all start asking questions. And the question is, did you ask questions yourself? Did you ask yourself? Did you try to dig into understanding what stands behind being a believer, or you left it at that?
I had a point where I was delving the scriptures. Yes, I almost knew like a very big part of the scripture in my head. Yes, but
Including the Old Testament or just?
no, it was a letter from the New Testament that I could recite almost. But then I started thinking, the more you know, the bigger your questions are. So I started to kind of humble myself into a gentle obedience, I think.
Well, this is one of the ways of believing is gentle obedience, uh, accepting. We do not have to understand everything.
No.
Things are what they are, and we are who we are, and that's it. And we cannot ask. Well, we can ask many questions, but we're not supposed to.
We're not able to.
Yes, we're not able to. There's many things which cannot be understood.
Yes.
Even in this era of, I don't know if AI can help us with understanding certain things.
Certain things, yes.
I don't think so. No. Okay, so we talked about belief and what it did for you. What made you interested in the Oriental way of living, as you put it? Why was it appealing to you?
Oh, it's certainly not appealing, but the alternative is eternal suffering.
No, you didn't get my question. You said, we were talking about Omri before, and you said that you were always interested in the way the Oriental families lived, all their...
why that's interesting to me.
And why did you become interested in this kind of, this way of life? What was the attraction for you?
Yeah. So what of course is what God tells us is love thy neighbor as yourself and be compassionate with each other. And what I see in my own culture is that we're all like this. We are only focused on ourselves. I see that even in my own family and in my with my friends. When I meet my friends and I haven't seen them for a long time, it's, yo, how are you doing? We give a fist bump. All right. It's not that it's a bad thing. It's my culture, and I don't judge my culture, but I always long to more compassion, more good talks with people, not on the surface only, but yeah. And I see that I worked at Burger King as a manager, and I saw people from Eritrea, from Africa, from the eastern part as well, and how they interact with each other and the way they eat together, like the big bread in the middle of the table and share the food together, talk around the food. That's beautiful. That's the way it's supposed to be.
Yes.
So yeah, that's what makes me interested. The beauty in the cohesion between people.
Well, maybe you were born in the wrong place at the wrong time, the wrong era. But this can be mended. Okay. So, can you point out something about being religious or being a Christian that influenced you very extremely, that maybe you wouldn't have been what you are without it? I mean, was there a certain point which is a major point in being in living in or being brought up in a Christian believing family?
I've always been a thinker, and I remember thoughts of very young age that I was tracing back, like this happens, oh that happens because of this, that happens because of this, that happens because of this, and in the end it's because we are placed here by God. So that's the conclusion. It has always been there. So there is not like a very big paradigm shift, Big learning moments, yes, but no, not like a very big shift. No.
But this deterministic way of thinking, like everything that happens has a reason, and God is somewhere and He's watching us, and everything that happens to us happens because we did something, or we didn't do something, or we are being punished, or we are being awarded. What do you think about this quid pro quo sort of thing of
Yes, everything, I think, first of all, God's ways, we cannot put words onto that. But yeah, I have certain moments that happened to me, and I realized later then, yes, it's good that this happened. I'm thankful that this bullshit happened to me, because I am now who I am, and I became stronger because of those situations. And also for the good, I'm thankful for the good situations as well. That's answer your question?
Yes, I think what you are saying is that sometimes belief, being a believer, helps you get along a life and accept things and be thankful. And
how does that work for you? Be accepting and being thankful?
you know, Omri knows that. I almost died for 5 times. I was already, yes. I was electrocuted at the age of 11, electrified, and I was almost died. And my father, at the last moment, took a blanket and covered me and pulled me, and I still have scars. I was glued to the electricity, and I was saved at the very last moment, at the age of 11. And then at the age of 20, I was in the October War, not this October War, in 1973 October War. And I was a commander of a platoon of tanks, and we attacked an Egyptian position, and my tank was hit by a missile, and all my crew were killed, and I was blown out of the turret of the tank, and I survived. And I will go on to the other episodes, but you know, and since then, you have to think, and I almost daily think, why was I saved? Why did I survive? And my friends, my comrades in the tank were killed. Why am I? And you have in life, you have questions which you cannot answer. There is no answer. I was not better than them. One of them was a believer, an Orthodox guy. He prayed every day, even during the war. He made all his prayers on time, and I was saved.
Yeah, I get the question.
So it's a big philosophic questions.
Yeah.
How was I chosen? How was I spurred to remain alive, and they were not? And it's been following me, this question, for all of my life since then. More than 50 years ago, this happened, and almost every morning I think about it. And then I had a car accident, and then I had a cardiac arrest, and they worked on me for an hour and a half. And when I got to hospital finally, I'm cutting a long story short, the doctor who received me said to the doctor who was bringing me, "What do you bring me dead people? He's dead." He said, "No, work on him." And I was in hospital in intensive care, and then when I woke up, my brain was functioning, although my heart wasn't working for an hour and a half. And my brain was not damaged, and my heart was not damaged. It was a miracle. It was. They wrote four articles about it. And again, and then I started talking after this episode, this event. I had a meeting with the Almighty. In my mind, I had a revelation, so to speak.
Okay.
I'm not crazy, but I had to ask him, and it was in the middle of a prayer in Yom Kippur, and I suddenly was all shaking and crying, and very funny noises came out of my mouth, and I was in an ecstatic feeling. And then I asked this voice, call him what you may, God, the universe, the superpower. How is it that you take me every time and you almost kill me and then you bring me back and I keep living? What is it about me? What is it?
Yeah.
And I got the answer. I mean, I did get an answer.
Was the answer satisfying, or did it?
I will tell you what the answer was. The answer, and I don't want to make somebody of myself, and people might.
I don't have to say.
But the answer was, listen, he said to me, the voice. You have not completed your errands on this universe. There are many things that you still have to do. And as long as you haven't completed your mission, I cannot take you. You have to stay on Earth to complete your mission. This was the answer. So I take it to where you wish, but this is the answer I got, and I understood the answer, and I started acting accordingly to do all these things that I should do. And so you ask me, am I a believer? Listen, after so many things that happened to me, and so many times I was almost dead, really.
Yeah.
I have to believe in something. Yes, this is even though I was not brought up in a religious family, but I don't know what to call this might, this force, this happening, but somebody intervened and let me go on living. You understand?
Do you have peace with this, with the answer and the fact that this happens to you?
Yes, it helped me a lot. It helped me understand a few things. Yes, it was very calming.
I can believe that. Yes.
And then he met me to complete his mission.
All right.
Guys, we have 5 minutes until this conversation will end.
So what have we spoken about? What have we not spoken about? Would you like to elaborate on something?
I would like to make the introduction again.
Okay.
So I suggest you send me a new link and we make the introduction once again when Floyd introduces himself.
No, but before that, I wanted to ask Floyd if he wants to ask anything or elaborate on something or add to the conversation.
No, it was first of all nice meeting you.
Thank you.
And thank you for the honesty about the story. I appreciate that.
Well, I hope you trust me.
I think I do, yes.
Okay. But not 100%. Okay.
No, let's keep it to
Yeah.
until 75.
Okay. And
No, I think it's. I think you're blessed with children and grandchildren. I would love to have them as well.
I wish you to have them. It's very rewarding.
I believe.
Yes. To know, first of all, to know that you have another generation, you see that your memory will be left somehow in your children and grandchildren. Yes. But this is another thing. Yes, Omri must have told you. I write, I publish, I have books of poetry, and I'm now working on book number 7. So I'm trying to leave a written legacy, a very minute, but I believe in writing. I believe in leaving something in writing, because things that have been written remain for eternity, or as long as the world exists. Whatever you write and is published will remain after you. So this is something I consider very important, to leave a written legacy.
In my conclusion is that both of you are insight, interesting people that believe in trust and know how to build trust, and they have faith with themselves and with their loved ones, mostly with their family. The point of view of each one of you is very different because your background and beliefs in life. But I do believe that what connects the both of you is the beliefs that people should respect and trust each other in terms of build a strong relationship with themselves and with their loved ones. And me personally have trust in both of you in different perspective and different ways. And I'm glad for the connection and the friendship I built with both of you, actually. And
appreciate that.
It's Floyd, it's more recently around 6 months of friendship, and with Atzmon it's quite a few years already.
Time flies.
And I'm very glad for it, because you are wonderful people, you're intelligent people, and I do trust both of you and respect both of you in many ways.
I have to differ on you, because you said that we are very different, but there are things that we think alike.
Yeah.
But I conclude from this short conversation with Floyd that, in a sense, although Floyd grew up in a Christian, religious, believing home, and I came not exactly from a secular family, a traditional family, but we do not worship God on a weekly basis or a daily basis, and I don't have this a very strong belief that God is there all the time and he's guiding me and teaching me. I didn't go as far as that, but life has brought me to be a believer.
Yeah.
Because there's so many phenomena that happened to me in my life that I cannot find an explanation to their occurrence other than the fact that some force, mighty force, divine force is watching me. So at the end, we believe very much the same. We don't call it the same, but generally speaking, both of us believe that there is a force that is guiding us and looking after us in heavens or wherever you may find it. So in that respect, I think that we do not differ so much.
I
Do
totally
you
agree.
agree, Floyd?
Yes, yeah. In first of all, we're the same. We are humans. But yeah, our stories just are different. Yeah,
Thanks a lot.
good.
It was wonderful.
Thanks a
Good
lot.
night.
Good night.